Spiritual authority. What is it and why do we need it in our lives? Hi, my name is Mary. Today I'm talking about spiritual authority and what it is and why it's important in our lives as believers. And the reason I feel the need to share about this is because I'm not only under authority, I am also in authority in the church context. And that means that not only have I had to learn how to submit to spiritual authority, I have also had to learn how to lead people who are in my authority or under my authority as a church leader. And at the various pros and cons I've seen insofar as our understanding as believers is concerned when it comes to spiritual authority, starting with myself. Depending on what Christian circles you come from, depending on your spiritual background, you may have a depth of understanding, a wealth of understanding insofar as what spiritual authority is and why it's important, or you may have absolutely no clue. All you know is that there are people in charge of certain things, and if you join a church, this is who to go to for this and this and this and this at best. However, spiritual authority is something that was ordained by God and is instituted by God. One of the reasons why He has it in place is a mechanism for protection and direction. And we see this in the reality of who a shepherd is. And I'm using the example of a shepherd because most of us are at least familiar with the office of a pastor, which is one of the dimensions of spiritual authority. If you look at Psalm 23, if you look at the life of David as a shepherd, if you look at the teachings of Jesus as a chief shepherd, one of the things that you'll find is that there are two key things in the way they function as shepherds, and that is to protect the flock as well as offer direction. And that's why David will talk about the rod and the staff that comfort him. Those are two different tools used for different things. A shepherd is in your life to give you direction, to offer you direction, and the way they do this is because by the time God is raising someone into a position of spiritual authority, He has given them the grace to see beyond what you are able to see. And this means that they are able to see beyond your present circumstances. There is an objectivity with which they are able to look at your life, past, present, and future, with the help of God to help you navigate the decisions that you're making and to ensure that you're in line with what God has planned for you. And the other thing that they do is they also offer protection. They offer spiritual cover. The life of a believer is one where we are under attack from the enemy. The enemy is always looking for a way in. He's a thief who's seeking to steal, kill, and destroy. And so as shepherds, one of the things that leaders are called to do, spiritual leaders are called to do, is to offer spiritual covering. In the same way they are able to have a vantage point that allows them to see the direction you need to go into. That vantage point also allows them to see the danger that could be headed your way, and it allows them to see it ahead of time and warn you about. Now you will realize that the only way spiritual covering can truly work is with your cooperation, and that's why I'm sharing this today, because a lot of times you'll find that people will clash with those in spiritual authority because they don't understand the role and the function of these people in their lives. If you don't understand why God has set a leader in your life, why God has asked you to submit to a particular leader in the church you're in, why He's requiring you to journey with them in a certain way, then you will not understand why they're saying or doing certain things with you, why they're relating with you in a certain way that could even be different from how they're relating with someone else. And it's probably largely because the instructions they've gotten from God are to do just that. People who are walking in true spiritual authority are people who are under authority themselves. These are people who submit themselves to fellow spiritual authority, people who have gone ahead of them, as well as people who submit themselves to the overall authority of the Lord. And that means that even as they are leading you, they're doing so as they are being led by someone else in authority over them, someone they are accountable to. They're also doing so as people who are under the authority of God. And so there is nothing that they're doing in your life that has not been authorized or sanctioned by God. And please note, I made the caveat, people who are in true spiritual authority, because there are those who enter into these offices for their own selfish benefits, and that's where abuse tends to creep in. But so so long as you're in a healthy church, you're in a church where your leaders are truly submitted to the authority of God and the authority of the men and women who have been set over their lives, then you are rest assured that as they are leading you in accordance to the grace and the wisdom that God has provided for them. And they need your cooperation to guide you well, to protect you well, to direct you well. Because especially in a church context, we largely are dealing with adults. And I'm not going to force you as a leader to do something against your will as a fellow adult. If you don't recognize the authority that I carry, the God-given authority that has been placed in me, then you're not going to be able to benefit from that which God has put in me to give to you. And the same goes for any leader who is truly accountable to the Lord and to those that God has set over their lives. So I just want to encourage you today, as a believer, as a member of a fellowship, a member of a church community, take time to ask the Lord to show you and to help you understand the role of spiritual authority in your life, to help you understand the different leaders who are in your life and the role that they are supposed to play in a particular season, because that also changes, to understand which leaders are supposed to supply what things into your life, so that you're not expecting a certain leader to give you everything when that is something that God has distributed among different leaders that are available to you. And so as far as is concerned, there is a small measure you're supposed to get from one leader and the rest you're supposed to get from others. And in this way, you will be able to relate with spiritual authority with a lot of ease and grace. It shouldn't be hard. It shouldn't be a stretch. It shouldn't be a conundrum to relate with your spiritual authority. If anything, if you look at the kind of relationship Jesus as the Son had with the Father, it was seamless. If you look at how the Trinity relate with one another, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, it's seamless. Each one submits to the graces that the other carries. And that's the same when it comes to spiritual authority. There's a submission one to another that allows us to be accountable to one another and to God, and to thrive in the context of church as God intended it to be. Thank you for joining me today. I'll see you in the next episode.